Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jamie. I am currently pulling the energies of people that I feel drawn to pull for. So I'm going to start with Cancer. So this reading could resonate if you are a Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. And I'm going to emphasize the word could, because these definitely will not resonate with every single Cancer out there. Only take readings that are definitely for you. And of course, remember, there is no gender. If I pull a queen, I could be talking about a guy and vice versa. It's all about their personality. All the information to book a private personal is in the description below and in the pin section of the comments. Also linked in there are some of the channel's subscribers, small businesses, and a really important nonprofit organization for kids. I don't understand what that shuffle even was. What in the heck? If you go to my homepage and you scroll to the bottom, you'll find my featured channel section. Those are all folks I highly recommend. You'll also find my other channel there. And it's a Cancer channel, so if you are not over there, you're lost. Come on over. You're going to love it there. Okay. For those of you that didn't see it in the community tab, I am opening 3-question readings this weekend. It only goes until Sunday evening. It's 3 questions for $25. Yeah, all the information's on the community tab. Wow, I cannot speak. So we have the 5 of Swords, the Page of Cups, the High Priestess, Cancer, Pisces energy, the 5 of Wands, the Devil, Capricorn energy, Death, Scorpio energy, the 8 of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the 8 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, at the bottom of the deck, the 6 of Swords. The 5 of Swords. With the Page of Cups, though. I feel like this isn't involving other people. I feel like this is solely about you, Cancer. I feel like there's a feeling that's coming to the surface. This has been in your subconscious for a minute, and you're really trying to fight it. I feel like it's a weird thing with maybe the moon right now. You'll notice the moon is in this 8 of Cups right next to the Death card, right? Scorpio. It's like triggering an emotion here that I think you thought you detached from. For some of you, and this is not to further the trigger, this is literally surrounding a death. I feel like maybe at some point in time you grieved, but only to the point where you could get back on your feet again, and then you like shoved it down. And right now it's like the Devil and Death. I feel like it's being brought back up to show you that you have not actually detached, that there are definitely some strong emotions still around this. Excuse me. You may actually be sort of also kind of noticing with the High Priestess, because that's like, you know, it's the High Priestess. Really paying attention to your own like behavior pattern at this time, because it's feeling like you're really aware of the feelings that are coming up. But I feel like it's confusing, because I feel like one is that you thought that this is something that you really kind of were able to move on from or close out. For a lot of you, this happened this time last year. But I feel like you feel this deep, like it happened yesterday. Like it happened yesterday. maybe there was some type of avoidance, and I feel like suppression of what was happening, but you may be realizing that like this situation actually over the course of the last year, because this is the wheel, you know, the wheel of the year, that actually for the last year you've sort of not been the same person, right? With the Five of Swords, the Five of Wands, like you may actually have issues even tapping into emotions, you know, but then also have like more triggered events if an emotion is triggered. So it's realizing that actually you have been like grieving it in a way that was hurting you instead of just like grieving it, which is like, you know, really tapping into that emotion. But there's also like this awareness that this is being brought to the surface so you can look at it to close it out. Because I feel like it was traumatic, whatever it was. And for a lot of you, really, it was a loss, like a real death. So it's kind of interesting. I feel like it's sort of looking at how you dealt with some type of grief from this time last year. That it actually, you know, like, even though you weren't feeling sad and you were pushing it down, that actually was being displayed in all kinds of behaviors and thought processes. Where there are certain situations where maybe this came up, but it came up in this shadow way. So I want you to think back to, you know, a year ago around this time and like what really was happening in life then. And if you really were capable of like processing it, you know, because like you're going to grieve, but like to truly process it is very different. Because whoever I'm looking at here did not, but the opportunity to do so is here. For some of you, this is about trying whatever that was again. You know, if it wasn't a death, you know, it was something that ended, but left you in such a triggered energy that you didn't go back to it. So it's like, regular Scorpio moon energy, forcing you to face your fears and these deep subconscious energies that, you know, really do need to be, you know, transmuted and released. But it's kind of cool though, because it's all, you know, it's not just in the feels. I feel like you guys are definitely in your feelings though. There's something happening here where a situation is finally like fully being accepted for what it was. And there's really like a transformation taking place where like, you know, you are also accepting this shadow aspect of yourself based off of whatever the situation was. I really don't think it was that apparent though. You know, maybe over the course of the last year, there's been some more erratic behavior from the bunch than ever before in life, you know, and it's like something that happened at this time last year that you may not have even been attributing to these other situations really was the problem. It's like, you know, maybe you ran to have some type of distraction from whatever this pure raw emotion was. Why is this coming up? So I feel like whatever this was, like, it was an ending that changed everything forever. So if that didn't happen to you this time last year, then this just straight up is not your reading. So I'm gonna shuffle again because nothing's really popping out. Cancer. Three of Wands, Temperance, Sagittarius energy. The Nine of Swords. The Nine of Pentacles. The Hierophant, Taurus energy. The Four of Wands, bottom of the deck, the Three of Pentacles. Wow. I feel like it's like, you know, this is a very tough period while you're trying to really, you know, make peace with this situation now. It requires a lot, I think, literally a lot of patience with yourself. You know, really, I feel like you guys are sitting and trying to deal with the emotions, even though they're very tough. But you know, the Nine of Pentacles to me is becoming, you know, self-sufficient again, becoming grounded again in life, having back independence, and from what? The devil, right? And the Hierophant is here with the devil. So there could be something around this time last year when you were going through this very raw, real life trauma, it looks like. You asked for something. What's interesting is I think that you asked for this. To be happy again, to be good on your own, to be self-sufficient, to not feel like you need for anything. I feel like I'm saying asked for because I feel like this was like prayed for, and then there was diligence on your end when it came to, I feel like changing your life around, and I feel like that has happened in this process. It just was chaotic and disruptive, and it it was the shadow side of life, right? But something here is like finally being brought to the surface, making you feel these raw emotions so that you can really break free of, I think, a pattern. The Hierophant is doing the same thing over and over and over again. And a lot of times it's about being distracted. I also feel like all of this pain, you're starting to accept as part of, you know, just life and your path. You know, that there are certain experiences that you had to go through in order to change and grow and maybe learn who you are. With the Nine of Pentacles sometimes too, that gives me, you know, like finally being an individual, you know. And that might sound crazy to people that have never had like severe mental illnesses and things like that, you know, where it's like they've always had an identity, you know. They don't get it for other people, where it's like, you know, starting to realize that who you really are as a person with real raw emotions and a whole shadow side and a whole light side. I don't know, there's something about what happened at this time last year, and Taurus energy is here to confirm, was part of your purpose. The Three of Pentacles, the Four of Wands to me is like what you'll be recognized for, what you were meant to do, what you were being led to do. But first, it's like, you know, sometimes we ask for things and we don't understand the sacrifice that it's going to take. We don't understand the loss and the hard failures it's going to take to get somewhere. It's not like we wake up and we choose to suppress feelings about situations that happen, or especially these situations where they cause like a lot of grieving and essentially leave you feeling abandoned. You know, I feel like that's kind of that hopeless, helpless, abandoned energy underneath it all. It's sort of like, you know, that the pain that you felt, or the pain that you've been through, is the reason that you ended up on this journey to begin with, and that it was all part of destiny, fate, the wheel of fortune. And I also feel like there's a huge lesson here about really understanding I think peace on a whole is something from within. It's not a situation that you're going to find yourself in. It's not a person you're going to find yourself with. It's something that you have to have from within, and it comes through actually feeling the emotions and allowing yourself to release them. You know, temperance is the transmutation. Pain to power. So there, for a lot of you, it's like whatever happened around this time last year, and maybe it wasn't last year. You know, for some of you, maybe it was 10 years ago. Somewhere between last year and 10 years, something very specific in Taurus season made you more spiritual than ever. Something happened last year in this time that made you maybe pray for the first time. And maybe not last year. I'm going to reiterate that, you know, could have been, it doesn't matter. It was in this season. And this time of year is deeply powerful for you because of this event. And this also jump-started your journey to self-development, which is where you are today. But I feel like there's still a lot of, you know, again, raw emotion that you maybe didn't have the time to feel. You know, this is 2024. Who has time to grieve? Your job will be like, hey, I'm sorry your mom died, but your 2 weeks are up. You need to come back to work. I mean, it's really that kind of world out here, so we don't realize how much we suppress and what we really do. What's the advice moving forward for Cancer? Damn, the star, Aquarius energy. The Page of Wands. The World. Yeah. You know, I feel like when you were in the midst of that energy, when you were praying, it was like for something specific, and it wasn't just your independence. I feel like that's just a side effect of all the ascension symptoms that you went through. There was something you asked for specifically, and I mean, the star and the Page of Wands, like you literally prayed for something very specific, and because you did the work, Cancer, it is coming to you, the world. For each of you, that's something different. I'm kind of getting whatever was lost isn't replaceable, but the joy that it brought is. That's the energy I'm getting. And I feel like that's what's being brought back, is like the joy of life, you know, to feel alive again. So I feel like, you know, it's saying you do have to complete this. You have to go through those emotions. You have to sort them out. And it's going to be, you know, I feel like just a rough weekend. It's not going to be, you know, a long period of time. But it's absolutely necessary. It's the very last step before, you know, something really, really big is happening. And maybe even for some of you, something really big is already happening. And that's actually what's bringing up all of these feelings, you know. And for everybody, it's like different. I'm kind of getting the energy of some people, like, you know, and this is not to trigger anyone, but like maybe losing a baby and then realizing that that opportunity has come back when they were not expecting it. You know, something crazy like that, but it brings up all these wild fucking emotions that you didn't even know you still had. Somebody losing a pet and the opportunity to maybe move on from that and, you know, get a new pet and, you know, bring back that joy in life is there. But, you know, even thinking about it brings up these raw, crazy emotions. You know, it's like just something like that where it's like whatever was lost is not replaceable, but the joy is. And I feel like joy is coming back into your life. So the advice definitely is to go ahead and feel it out, release what needs to be released. See you guys soon.